Let me tell you something that might sting a little, but it's the truth. One of the biggest reasons people stay broke is simply this: they don't know how money works. That's it. It's not always about not making enough. It's not always about bad luck. Most of the time, it's about a lack of financial literacy, and I don't say that to insult anybody. I say it because if we don't confront the root issue, we can't fix it. See, we've been trained to go to school, get good grades, maybe go to college, and then go find a job. That's the formula we were sold. But here's the problem. Nobody taught us how to keep the money we earn. Nobody taught us how to make money work for us. We were told to work for money, but never taught how to make money work. That's a setup, and most people are caught in it. You can have a high-paying job and still be broke. You can earn 6 figures and still live check to check if you don't understand budgeting, saving, taxes, interest, debt, or investments. Because the truth is, it's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep, and more importantly, how much you grow. If your only relationship with money is earning it and spending it, then you're just a highly paid consumer. That's not wealth. That's a trap. Now, let me make this plain. Financial literacy isn't just knowing how to balance a checkbook or clip coupons. It's knowing what assets are. It's knowing the difference between good debt and bad debt. It's understanding compound interest and how time, not timing, is what builds wealth. It's knowing that a credit score isn't just a number, it's leverage. It's power when you know how to use it. But the truth is, most people were never given this knowledge, and even worse, many never go looking for it. That's the real danger. Being broke isn't just about not having money. It's about not knowing what to do with money when it comes. That's why some folks win the lottery and go broke in 5 years. That's why athletes and entertainers can make millions and still file bankruptcy. Because money without understanding is like fire in the hands of a child. It'll burn through everything you touch. And let me just add this: ignorance is expensive. If you think education is expensive, try not having it. Try living through the consequences of years of financial mistake, overdraft fees, high interest credit cards, bad loans, missed investment opportunities, and broken peace of mind. That cost adds up over time, and by the time most people realize it, they've lost years they can't get back. So if you want to stop being broke, you have to make a decision to stop being financially ignorant. You have to decide that you're going to learn what the wealthy know. Read the books, watch the webinars, get in the rooms, ask questions, seek understanding, and don't just learn it. Apply it, because information that isn't applied is just entertainment. And too many people are being entertained by their future instead of building it. Let me leave you with this. You can't win a game you don't know the rules to. Let's talk about something that keeps more people broke than they even realize: living beyond their means. Now, I know that phrase gets thrown around a lot, and it sounds simple, but the truth behind it is deep. Most people aren't broke because they're lazy. They're broke because they're trying to look like they're not. See, we live in a culture that pushes appearance over substance. We want to drive the nice car, wear the designer shoes, rock the latest phone, and post pictures in luxury places, even if we had to swipe a credit card to get there. And that's the trap. Too many people are financing an image they can't afford to maintain, and that image is costing them their future. I've seen people making $40, zero a year with $60, zero in expenses, and they're confused about why they're drowning. It's because their lifestyle is bigger than their income. It's like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain open. No matter how much water you pour in, it's never going to stay full. And here's the crazy part: you can double your income, but if you don't fix the habits, you'll just double your lifestyle and stay broke at a higher level. You ever notice how some people get a raise, and the first thing they do is upgrade their life? Bigger car note, fancier apartment, more eating out. That raise disappears before the next paycheck hits. Why? Because they're not thinking long term. They're not building wealth. They're renting it, temporarily feeling rich until the bill shows up. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against having nice things. I believe in abundance. I believe in overflow. But there's a difference between owning nice things and nice things owning you. When your identity is tied to stuff, you'll make poor financial choices just to feel successful. And that's dangerous. Here's what's really wild. Sometimes people are more focused on looking rich than becoming rich. They want validation from people who don't even care about them. They're buying things to impress folks who won't help them pay a single bill. And meanwhile, their savings account is empty. Their credit cards are maxed out. They're one emergency away from disaster. But hey, at least they got the latest Jordans, right? This mindset is a setup. It's a form of self-sabotage dressed up in style. Living beyond your means isn't just a financial issue. It's an emotional one. It's a lack of self-worth showing up in spending habits. People use money to numb the discomfort of feeling behind in life. So instead of facing the real work of financial discipline, they chase quick highs through purchases, and the sad part, that temporary high always fades, but the debt stays. So what's the shift? You have to learn to be okay with not having everything right now. You have to build the discipline to delay gratification. Instead of asking, can I afford the payment? You need to ask, can I afford the cost? Big difference. Payments make things seem affordable, but they don't tell you what that monthly bill is stealing from your future. The goal isn't to look rich. The goal is to be free. Free from stress, free from debt, free from living check to check. And that kind of freedom requires restraint. It requires being intentional with how you live today so that tomorrow isn't a constant struggle. Here's what I need you to understand. If your lifestyle is bigger than your bank account, your dreams will always stay small. Let's be real for a second. Most people don't have a money problem, they have a habits problem. You don't end up broke overnight. It's not one big bad decision. It's a series of small daily choices that build up over time like bricks in a wall. And if your habits are bad, that wall ends up blocking you from the life you're trying to build. Poor money habits are silent killers. They don't scream at you, they whisper. They look harmless in the moment. Grabbing coffee every morning, skipping the budget this month, ignoring that small subscription fee. But those little decisions add up. You don't notice it until you're looking at your account on the 20th of the month, wondering where all your money went. It went where you told it to go, unconsciously. Let me tell you something about habits. They don't care about your income. You can be making $1, $100, $0 a year, but if your habits are sloppy, you'll still feel broke. It's not about how much comes in. It's about what you do with it once it gets there. And most people, truthfully, they don't have a plan. Their money hits the account and starts walking out the door like it's got somewhere better to be. You want to know what keeps people stuck? They don't track their spending. They don't save consistently. They don't invest early. They don't set goals. And because they never learned structure, they rely on impulse. And impulse is a terrible money manager. Impulse says, buy it now, we'll figure it out later. But later always costs more. Another bad habit that keeps people broke, avoiding their financial reality, ignoring bank statements, avoiding opening bills, not checking credit scores. It's like closing your eyes while driving and hoping for the best. You can't fix what you refuse to face. Some people would rather live in denial than deal with the discomfort of discipline, but let me tell you that denial is expensive. Ignorance might feel safe in the moment, but it's costing you your peace, your future, and your freedom. And then there's the habit of procrastination. People tell themselves, I'll start budgeting next month, or I'll start saving when I make more. But that's a lie. We tell ourselves to stay comfortable. If you don't manage the little, you won't manage the lot. Wealth isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about creating the right habits now. You don't get in shape by going to the gym once a year. You build consistency, you build rhythm. Money works the same way. Let me give it to you straight. If you want to change your bank account, change your habits, get a budget, track every dollar, save on purpose. Stop buying things that don't move your life forward. Automate your savings, set a goal, monitor your credit, educate yourself weekly. These aren't big, flashy moves, but done consistently, they shift your entire trajectory. And don't think small habits don't matter. They matter the most. What you do repeatedly is what shapes your reality. You don't need to do something massive. You need to be consistent with the basics. That's what separates people who stay broke from people who build wealth. Wealthy people have wealthy habits. Broke people often have broke routines. That's not judgment. It's just the truth. So here's what I need you to get. Your money habits today are writing the story of your tomorrow. Let me tell you something that keeps more people broke than any economy, any job market, or any government policy, and that's a lack of discipline, specifically the inability to delay gratification. That one thing right there. That's the killer. It's not that people don't want better. It's that they want everything right now, and that mindset is poison to wealth. See, we live in a world that promotes instant everything. Fast food, fast streaming, fast shipping, fast success. And what ends up happening is people carry that same mindset into their money. They don't want to build slow and strong. They want to blow up overnight. But let me tell you, anything that grows too fast without a solid foundation will collapse just as quickly. People stay broke because they can't say no today so they can say yes tomorrow. They can't walk past the new shoes or the upgraded phone or the extra vacation. And here's the part they don't see. Every time you choose short-term pleasure over long-term gain, you are trading your future for your feelings. You are making your emotions more important than your freedom. That's expensive. Let's get real. Discipline doesn't feel good in the moment. That's why most people avoid it. It feels uncomfortable. It feels like lack. But what they don't realize is that undisciplined spending feels good now and hurts later. Disciplined living feels tight now but gives you peace later. And that peace is priceless. The truth is, if you can't control yourself, you'll never control your finances. Because money is a magnifier. If you're impulsive without money, you'll be impulsive with money. If you're careless with $100, you'll be careless with $10, 0. It's not about the amount, it's about the mindset, and that mindset is shaped by discipline. Let me give you a simple example. Saving money is not hard. What's hard is not spending it once you've saved it. That's the battle. It's not the budget, it's the boredom. It's not the bank account. It's the urge to reward yourself constantly because you deserve it. Listen, I'm all for celebrating, but celebration without structure is sabotage. You can't build wealth if you're always looking for ways to reward yourself before you've done the real work. You can't be financially free if every time you get a little extra money, you're already thinking about how to spend it instead of how to multiply it. And you'll never get ahead if your comfort zone matters more than your calling. Discipline means doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. It means setting rules for your money and following them. It means telling yourself, no, not yet, and having the emotional strength to mean it. It means setting financial goals and sticking to them, even when everyone around you is living recklessly. Let me say, this too-delayed gratification is not about living a boring, deprived life. It's about being wise enough to wait. It's about choosing purpose over pleasure. It's about doing what your future self will thank you for, not what your current feelings are demanding. That's maturity. That's power. So here's what I want you to understand. You don't become wealthy by accident. You become wealthy on purpose, and that purpose requires discipline. One of the biggest reasons people stay broke is fear, specifically the fear of taking risks, and I get it. Fear feels safe. Playing it safe feels like the responsible thing to do. You get a job, you stay in your lane, You don't make waves, and you hope it all works out in the end. But let me ask you something. How's that working out for most people? Because the truth is, staying safe is often the fastest route to staying stuck. See, fear has a sneaky way of disguising itself as wisdom. People say things like, "I'm just being careful," or "I don't want to make a bad decision," or "I need to wait until everything's perfect." But really what they're doing is hiding. They're afraid to invest, afraid to start, afraid to launch, afraid to fail. And that fear is costing them the very thing they say they want, financial freedom. Let me make something clear. Nobody builds wealth without risk. You don't create anything new by staying in the same place. Every business owner, every investor, every person who ever built something meaningful had to step into the unknown. They had to take a leap before they knew how it would all work out. And yes, sometimes it didn't go the way they planned. But that's how they learned. That's how they grew. That's how they got better. Meanwhile, most people are still on the sidelines waiting for guarantees. They want to be certain before they move. But here's the truth. The people who are winning didn't have certainty. They had courage. They took calculated risks. They educated themselves, yes. But at some point, they stopped researching and started moving. Now don't get it twisted. I'm not talking about reckless risk. I'm not telling you to throw your money at every opportunity you see. I'm talking about intentional risk, the kind that comes after you've done your homework. The kind that stretches you but doesn't break you. The kind that forces you to grow. Because let's be honest, if you never feel uncomfortable, you're not doing anything new. And if you're not doing anything new, you're not going to get any new results. People stay broke because they're so afraid of losing that they never even give themselves a chance to win. They'd rather protect what little they have than go after what they could have. And that mindset will keep you broke for life. Because the biggest loss isn't losing money, it's losing time. It's watching the years go by while you sit on ideas, dreams, and opportunities that you were too scared to pursue. And let's talk about where that fear comes from. A lot of it was taught. Maybe someone told you money was dangerous. Maybe you saw someone lose everything and thought, "That'll never be me." Maybe you grew up hearing, "Just play it safe." But let me tell you, just because you were taught fear doesn't mean you have to live in it. At some point, you've got to decide that your future is worth the fight, that your dreams are worth the discomfort. Listen, the comfort zone is where dreams go to die. You can't stay there and expect your finances to elevate. At some point, you've got to bet on yourself. You've got to stop waiting for perfect conditions and start building something, anything, that moves you forward. Because the longer you wait, the more expensive that fear becomes, not just in dollars, but in missed potential. So here's what I need you to understand. Fear will keep you broke, but faith in your ability to grow will set you free. Let me tell you one of the most dangerous traps that keeps people broke. It's who they spend their time with. See, you can have all the ambition in the world, but if you're surrounded by people who think small, act small, and live small, it's only a matter of time before you start shrinking too. Your environment matters. Your circle matters. And whether you realize it or not, the people closest to you are either feeding your future or draining it. Now I know that might sound harsh, but listen. If you're always the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You need to be around people who challenge you, who stretch you, who don't let you settle for average, because average is contagious, broke thinking is contagious, complacency is contagious, and if you're not careful, you'll catch it. Think about it. You're trying to build wealth, and you're hanging out with people who think budgeting is boring, investing is risky, reading is weird, and saving money is pointless. You're trying to grow, and they're making fun of you for saying no to brunch or not blowing your tax refund on a shopping spree. That pressure right there, that's how people get stuck. Not because they don't know better, but because they're afraid to stand out. You have to get comfortable being different, because broke people stay broke trying to fit in with other broke people. And I'm not talking about how much money someone has, I'm talking about their mindset. You can have $1 million and still think like a broke person. You can be struggling financially but have a wealth-building mindset. The key difference is how they think, what they prioritize, and what they're working toward. You need people in your life who speak possibility, not limitation. People who see your vision and say, let's go, not why would you do that. You need people who are talking about business ideas, not just gossip. People who are reading books, not just watching Netflix. People who are investing in their future, not just spending for the weekend, because energy is real. And if you're constantly surrounded by lack, scarcity, and fear, that energy will infect your belief in what's possible for you. And let me say this, it's okay to outgrow people. That doesn't make you disloyal, that makes you aware. Sometimes growth means making hard decisions. Sometimes it means creating space so you can elevate. If you're serious about changing your financial future, you can't take everyone with you. Some people are only meant to be in your life for a season. Trying to carry them into your next chapter will only slow you down. But here's the beautiful part. Once you start moving different, you'll attract different. The more intentional you become, the more aligned people you'll meet. People who are on the same path. People who won't let you shrink. People who will celebrate your progress instead of feeling threatened by it. That's the type of circle that multiplies success. So I'll leave you with this. If your circle doesn't inspire you, it's not a circle. It's a cage.